All right, the time being 5:32 p.m., I call to order the meeting, the Tilton Northfield Fire Commission meeting of June 22nd, 2021. First, we have public comment, members of the district, employees of the district. You are not an employee of the district, you are not, well, you're a resident, you're a...
Paul Fitzgerald.
Oh, I know, he's public comment though.
No.
But his words are...
Not today.
Not
Not
today.
today.
All right.
He'll be further down.
Tim? All right.
He's further down.
All right. Oh, okay. All right. So moving on. Correspondence.
Okay, you
What-
received
what?
the audit from Plodzik and Sanderson, as well as the, yeah, their government, their letter
Where's our
of
letter?
the findings. It's inside the the audit itself. It's right in the beginning. You open it up and it will open
Oh, I thought it was separate.
to their statement on the financials.
Oh, there we go. Nope. Is this the independent auditor's report?
Yes,
Right in front, huh?
yes, right in the front.
Like page 2 or 3, like this.
Okay.
You got it?
And then,
Independent auditors.
Yeah.
and then behind that, of course, is the audit and the management's discussion and analysis.
Financial center.
You can take that home and read it if you want to.
Oh, boy.
So we don't have action.
Anything earth shattering? I mean, is there...
We're okay.
We're okay.
You don't sound enthusiastic.
Yeah,
we
okay.
are. We are.
All right.
Every year they
We'll
ding
read
us.
that and we'll see how okay you are after you read it.
Well, I see one thing here in the report.
Well, every year they ding us because we haven't done a study on the retirees' liability, but we only have one retired person who does not take anything but the dental insurance.
And that's
And-
self-pay.
Yes, and that study is thousands of dollars.
Okay. So that retiree pays his, so if it's $1,000 a year,
They
or
pay it.
1,200, if let's just say 1,200, if it's $100 a month, he pays $100 a
Pays
month.
the
Right.
entire amount.
It comes
Okay.
directly out of his retirement.
Gotcha.
He's in the New Hampshire retirement system, so they pay it every month. And then the other correspondence that we received was copies of the letters from Attorney Fitzgerald to the Water District, and then their response back from their attorney. And that is the second packet.
All right.
The first packet that you have, under that is all the old correspondence, and then the second packet will start with Attorney Fitzgerald's letter, and then everything following that transpired.
All right. So I guess we're going into non-public? All right. So I gotta flip to this page. Let's see. The time being...
Motion and second.
Hold on.
Okay.
Time being 5:37 p.m., I'll make a motion to enter non-public session. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Paul.
The last one.
No, it's, last one. Specific statutory reason cited as foundation for the non-public session, RSA 91-A:3, Roman numeral 2,
L.
L. Thank you.
Legal.
Consideration of legal advice provided by legal counsel, either in writing or orally, to one or more members of the public body, even where legal counsel is not present. Roll call vote. Paul Ozier.
Yes.
John Silly.
Yes.
Eric Pyra, yes. Stop the recorder. Did I hit stop?
Hit stop.
How do you like them apples? All right. So we start the video. Public use in 6:15. Do we want to?
So now we do the motion,
Are you going to seal these minutes, yes or no?
per legal matter,
I would,
Well, when do you want to see them? I don't.
there's limits
I
on
would
sealing
think so for the time being.
For the
yeah,
time being,
until the
definitely.
matter is
until the matter is
resolved.
resolved.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, so,
I'll make a motion to seal the minutes.
I'll second it.
seconded by Paul.
Because it is determined that divulging of this information likely
Thank you.
would render a proposed action ineffective.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Roll call vote, Paul Rozier,
Yes.
John Silly,
Yes.
Eric Kyrie, yes. Motion passed. And now we have to
Make a motion.
make a motion to vote.
Now you have to state the reason for being in non-public.
So we were non-public to discuss legal action.
Legal counsel.
Legal counsel, recommendation by legal counsel on sending a letter to the Tilton Northfield Water District regarding, should I say why regarding, or regarding a legal issue?
That's entirely up to you.
Well, just to the Tilton Northfield Water District.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's my motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Motion, seconded by John Silly. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? None. Motion carries. All right.
All right, so I don't have to worry about this. Good, that's done.
So then,
This is not recorded. Oh, yes, it is. No, it's not.
Oh, no.
No. Hold on, you want to do it all over again? Well, it's on the video.
Okay, so long as you spoke about.
All right, now it's recorded. Good thing I checked. We came out of non-public at 6:15.
then I'll make a motion that we, as discussed in non-public, that the council and Chief Sitar draft a memo to the Tilton Northfield Water District that will be sent to the commissioners prior to sending to the water district.
I'll second that
For review?
for
For review prior to, yes.
any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Yeah, we just replayed history. All right.
Okay?
Well, thank you, sir.
Thank
All right.
Thank
you.
Chief, I'll be in touch with you tomorrow, okay?
Very good.
Have a good evening.
You too.
Wow.
Thank you.
Watch out for,
Yeah.
all right. Move that one right along.
So this one,
We did that one, non-public session, old business. We have to review the Lakes Region Mutual Fire Aid meetings with the towns of Northfield and Tilton.
Yep.
So we had a meeting first with town of Northfield a couple weeks ago. And the town of Northfield informed us at that meeting that they were going to, I don't know if the right word would be, look into whether they should withdraw as members of the Mutual Fire Aid Association.
I don't think they wanted to withdraw. What they wanted to do was have the fire department pay for it.
Well, but I think they,
So they wouldn't be a member. It would fall back to the fire department.
well, what has to happen is that they would have to withdraw, and the district would have to be accepted as a member, if I'm not, unless I'm misunderstanding.
If that's the way of going about it, that's one way of going about it.
Yeah.
The other way of going about it would be for the town to stay a member and submit the bill to the fire district for payment.
So there's an option where they could submit the bill to the district, and the district would then use the formula the district uses to pay for expenses using that current formula.
I think that's what they're looking for.
Yes. Something along that line.
Yeah. Now, I don't think, technically, without Tilton, I don't think they can just step out. Or I shouldn't say step out, I guess they could get out, but they need Tilton in order for,
Technically, they can remove themselves from the district, the mutual aid
Yeah.
association.
however, what's
But
that?
then they will not get, anything that happens in Northfield will not be dispatched by Lakes Region Mutual Fire Aid. It would have to be by somebody
understand
else
that.
unless there was another arrangement made.
What they're looking for, though, is the district to pick up the tab,
Yes.
so Tilton, because they would save, what, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000,
Close to
No,
around $10,000 to $12,000.
$10,000 to $12,000 by doing it the way they
And
did.
we basically shift the cost to Tilton
Yeah.
because of our form,
Yeah,
the fire district form.
yeah,
I should
and I
say.
think that's what they were looking for. Now, are they able
Hey,
to,
Tom.
are they able to do that if Tilton does not go in for it?
Yeah, what happens if Tilton doesn't?
If Tilton stays in, Tilton will always be a member and will have to pay because the contract isn't with the fire district,
It's with the town.
it's with the towns. So if Tilton stays in, just like it has, their bill is still gonna be the same as it always has been, based on the formula. And they pay it, as they always have paid it. And nothing would change for Tilton. If Northfield withdrew, they would not get a bill, they would not get dispatching services, which would create a problem for us, because we're a fire district that covers both towns. Who's gonna send us to Northfield when there's a problem in Northfield, if they're not part of the fire district? They could join Concord, but then we'd have to reprogram a bunch of radios, carry 2 pagers, and it would be
Be
a
more
nightmare.
costly.
And if that were the case, one dispatching agency would not have a situational awareness of what's going on. So say we got called to a call in Tilton, and then there was another call in Northfield. Say they went with Concord. Concord would dispatch them as if nothing were happening in Tilton and not know that things were going on in Tilton, and that our resource had changed, our resource availability had changed.
That's a logistical nightmare.
Yeah, it would be, it would be.
The other thing though is, what if we went to the town of Northfield and said, look, okay, you want to step up, you want to give, you pay your share to us, the fire department, which I don't know what it is, say 30,000, for instance, I don't know what it is.
42,000.
Okay, 42. You pay us the 42,000. We'll put it in the fire department budget, and we'll pay the bill. That way, they lose because we're paying for Tilton now. Northfield will be paying for some of Tilton. Because if Tilton don't want. I don't know. I know what.
Well, you could have both towns submit their invoice, if you will, to the fire district, and the fire district would
Cut a check.
cut a check, and for.
But they're still paying the same amount.
It'd still be the same
But each town
amount.
is still the member, where each town is the minister, and the fire district.
That
is
ain't what they're
basically-
looking for, though. They're looking so Tilton will pay more. That's what they're looking for.
Well,
They're looking to cut
no,
the
because it
cost.
would still be, we divvy up the expenses based on the assessed value, so it's, what is it, 60/40 roughly?
Roughly.
So, if currently Tilton is paying, I think they're paying 42 and Northfield's paying 43, but I'm just gonna make simple math. The two bills combined is $100,000. Tilton winds up paying 60, and Northfield starts paying 40. So I'm just using those two numbers.
That's a good way of putting it.
But
Instead of each of them paying 50,000, one would pay
Well-
10,000 more, and one would save 10,000.
right,
Because of the formula that we use to determine our budget.
I think another part of the argument, from what I've been hearing from them, is, so theoretically, we're paying in about 85,000. If the town was to pull out, see, so the district is actually paying for 2 towns. Part of their thinking is like, why is Lakeshore Mutual Fire Aid getting 2 entities worth of money? If we pull out, then the fire district being one entity, then they would be paying 40% of 42,000 versus 40% of 85,000. That's where they're trying to wage that money, saying, hey, it's not our problem, it's the district, so the district can be the one entity, and Lakeshore Mutual Fire Aid isn't going, they have a set per entity cost. So that's the game that they're partly trying to play too.
I understand that, and I think that the main thing that they really have to understand, that both towns have to understand, is that the contract is with the municipalities.
Right.
It's not with the fire district. And
Yeah.
that's what they want to break. So the contract is, the town of Northfield has a contract with
Right.
Lakes Region Mutual Fire Aid. The town of Tilton has a contract with Lakes Mutual Fire Aid. The city of Laconia has a contract with Lakes Mutual Fire Aid. The town of Belmont, all 35 agencies, or municipalities that Lakes Mutual Fire Aid dispatches, each municipality has its own contract. So the other closest thing to a fire district would be like the Campton, Thornton, Ellsworth.
There we go, that's what I was thinking.
That's 3 separate towns, 1 fire department, but that 1 fire department is contracted, it's from 2 other towns to run the fire department. It's not a fire district. Each municipality gets their own bill from Lakes Mutual Fire Aid, and each municipality pays, is it Campton that actually runs it?
Now it is. It used to be Campton and Thornton. Campton had 60%, Thornton had 40%, and Ellsworth bought in at 4% of the budget. So it worked out, subtract 2 and 2. And then they decided a couple of years ago, I think it is, that Campton would take over the management of the fire department, and Ellsworth and Thornton would still buy in.
But it's still not a fire district.
No, each town pays their own mutual aid.
So they're still paying
fees.
per town.
Yes,
Planning board meeting?
upstairs.
Thank you very much. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, you're fine.
So really, it's not about us, it's up to them to do whatever they want.
It's just we pick up the pieces after, if it.
I think we have to wait to see if, because from what I understand, July 1st is really the deadline.
The Lakes Region Mutual Fire Aid has to receive a letter from the town of Northfield stating that they want to withdraw by June 31st,
30th.
30th, excuse me.
June 31st.
Yeah, that ain't gonna happen.
It wasn't on their agenda tonight, I don't think.
And if they don't, then they're on the hook for another year as a member, because they're gonna be paying for it, whether they want to be there or not. And so, I think ultimately, they were looking to see if the town of Tilton was interested in cooperating with the town of Northfield to have the fire district become a member, or if the fire commissioners were interested in becoming the member and letting the towns withdraw. I think that's kind of like their strategy. But in the meeting that I saw with the town of Tilton, there was no discussion of the town of Tilton wanting to withdraw. And I guess it's up to you gentlemen whether you decide whether you think that the fire district should be a member or not, rather than the towns. And this would require some additional discussions with both municipalities, I would say.
That's what I mean. It's not up to us, really.
Right now.
I mean, if they dump it on us, it's up to us.
Right.
But they can do whatever they want. I mean, if they want to pull out, then I guess go for it. I mean, we'd have to deal with it.
Right.
The one thing that he mentioned at the Tilton one, I don't recall him saying at the Northfield one, maybe I just missed it, was about the radio system.
Oh, yeah.
So
So,
there's there's a fee for
Right.
whatever you want to call it. It's about $25,000, if I'm mistaken.
I was online.
so that would be.
Oh, yeah, I saw your name.
That would be, it was an assessment levied on the municipalities for years 3, 4, 5, and 6 of a 7-year note. So if they withdrew now, they would still be on the hook for that assessment because they were part of the Mutual Aid Association when that was voted.
Per town.
Per town.
Yeah, I think right now we're pending what they're doing because we really don't have input into it other than,
I mean, I guess we're gonna wait and see with Northfield to see what they do. They have,
do we want to put on our page a link to the minutes or the meetings, the recorded meetings of Tilton and Northfield for public awareness?
I think what might be a good thing is if the commissioners, do you have a position as to whether you want the district to become the member rather than the towns?
And that would go into our minutes.
And that would go into our minutes and then,
I'm not opposed to that. I just worry about how the billing to the towns will be. Because I understand where one of the selectmen is saying they're a town selectman, but they don't have control of the fire district. And I respect that position because it is a separate entity. I think that it's something that would take time. It's not something that we could rush and be done with by June 30th. I mean, this is like a year in planning of, okay, this is what the formulas will be, this is what the potential cost will be, because there's going to be, we'll be sending the bill to the 2 towns and they'll have to pay that. And so there's a lot of negotiating and stuff like that. Long term, that is a potential. Short term, it would be disastrous to do it, just because the implementation process, there's no way we could get an implementation plan that quick.
8 days. I mean,
I think a year from now, if they want to go into negotiations for a talk of future plan of that, I mean,
I guess the concern is the $25,000 that's gonna, $50,000 that's gonna be placed on on each, it's 25 on each town. It's not coming to the fire district.
right.
That's each town's responsibility, and I don't know, does someone look at that as a loss leader type thing where, okay, yeah, well, that's gonna take care of, how many years did you say, 4 years? So, okay, I paid $25,000 and now I don't have to pay, doing some rough math in my head, $160,000, give or take, and I only have to pay, $110,000 over those same years, and it's only going to cost me $25,000 to do that. I don't know. I guess part of me says I want to take a wait and see approach and see what they decide. I mean, based on some of the stuff that they've done, I have a feeling that we might get a letter. And then we have to, but the other side says, well, we better be prepared for that letter.
Mm-hmm.
Because July 1st is
Next week,
next Friday,
next Thursday.
next Thursday. So,
going on vacation.
well, they would have to get it to us by the 30th, really. Close the business on the 30th.
They have to get it to Lakes Region Mutual Fire Rate by the 30th. They don't necessarily have to notify us at all.
No.
No.
That's true. So they have to get something Lakes Region Mutual Fire Rate by the close of business on the 30th. Is there a process, does it have to be a registered letter, can it be an email, can it be? I mean, I don't know if anyone's ever withdrawn. How did New Durham do it? They were the last one to do it.
It's in writing by the 30th, if they don't want to be in.
But what's the method of that writing, I guess, is, I
It
mean,
doesn't really say in the bylaws, so I guess it could be an email, but I'm not sure. Is that,
what happens if it gets caught up by spam and they'll never receive it, you know?
well, that's
I
why,
get
that's
spam
why you
stuff.
send things, return receipt requested and all that other kind of stuff to make sure people really receive things on a
Well,
timely manner.
I send stuff to people in the program, the way it goes at work, it gets caught up in the spam, so I had to send them an email just to let them know I sent it. And I'll just, I guess we'll,
I think if you,
is there a consensus that we just kind of wait and see what happens? Or do you want to come up with a plan now?
I think we have to see what they're gonna do as part of it. And then I think we need to look at the potential future of this, taking into considerations that there is gonna be costs and things like that.
Yeah.
So I think it's something that we should have on our agendas going forward, is the potential of this down the road.
Yeah.
And we know that people have been trying for years to pull out of Lake Street Mutual Fire Aid. We've had people for years trying to plan to separate two departments, and this is just one more piece of that. I mean,
I think it's a very small number of people that are trying to push this thing, and I don't know how long they're gonna be there.
right, at least one more year. But unfortunately, there's two now that are in mindset.
The other thing to factor into this is if some of the inferences that I heard, and I may be wrong in this, is that if the fire district becomes the member and they want to rearrange maybe the formula of the fire district to, based on call volume rather than assessed values and things like that. Not that that would change that much, because of the way our call volume and the percentage of which town pays is fairly close. But
Potential.
one of the selectmen was saying, why isn't dispatching services based upon call volume?
It's almost the same.
It's, well, for an hour,
No.
Tilton Northfield isn't, but, so, say you go to Maltonborough, who pays nearly $100,000 a year, and they have about 500 calls a year. It's because the formula that Lakes Region Mutual Fire Aid is based 50% on population, 40% on assessed value, and 10% on a fixed percentage of the budget. So they're paying a lot more for dispatching services than, say, Tilton or Northfield is based on call volume.
And I'm not sure what capital area is.
The formula for capital area is a little bit different. Capital is a little bit more expensive than Lakes Region.
Now,
It's a different situation though. The dispatches and capital are they're members of the Concord Fire Department, and they're employees of the city of Concord. Whereas Lakes Region Fire Aid is a charter government, separate government
kind of
employees.
like us, we're our own government here.
Well, yes, the governance is a little bit different, but yes.
Interesting. I had a thought, but I realized it would require splitting the district. And that isn't happening anytime soon. Because I was going to think, well, what if Northfield decided they wanted to contract with Franklin
For dispatching services,
for fire service?
fire service, they would have to leave the district.
Because there was one selectman that kept bringing a county, different, you know.
Yeah.
And county works around the country, but right now New Hampshire is not a county-driven state.
No, we're not.
And that's the biggest thing, because you pretty much have to buy into the county concept for everything.
Yeah.
And it's just not here in New Hampshire yet, and no offense, I'd rather see
That's
other.
not really the Northeast, really.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, Massachusetts Sheriff's Office really does, county, they do.
They do the jails.
The jails,
That's
they do
it.
transport prisoners.
Yeah.
Okay, so, we're done with that. Closed buildings policy.
So, our building really is not closed to the public anymore. Though anyone coming in that is not an employee of the fire department, they do have to go through the temperature and stuff like that. And employees, the next thing, we're free to, unless you have a problem, you don't have to wear a mask or anything like that. The protocols for EMS protocols for going out on calls has been reduced. You don't have to wear eye protection anymore, according to the state. But if the situation calls for eye protection, you still have to wear eye protection. But masks and gloves are still required on every call.
We probably will be forever.
Maybe. I mean, I remember back
I always say you guys wore gloves on calls anyway.
when I first started working EMS, we didn't wear gloves. Gloves came into the fold when the AIDS epidemic came about. That's when we started actually wearing gloves. And so this may be a new thing with masks and things like that going forward.
the mask, like I said, the safety glasses, I mean, it's almost should be a must, because you just have stuff with EMS where things go wrong all the time, and just having a good pair of safety glasses.
We've been pretty good about it. Most of them wear them anyways.
We wear them anyways most of the time,
Yeah.
just because.
Yeah.
And we have no problem handing them out.
Yeah, and that's where I'd want to be, just because it's protection for them, that if you get that accidental splash of anything, I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be ideological either. It could be splash of water. Yeah.
Yeah. They're not the face shields, they're actual glasses.
They're
Right?
glasses.
So what was last meeting we were going to discuss this, but because you had a meeting with the employees, what's their buy-in on it, all this?
They wanted the buildings open.
They don't really have a,
I know, but you met with them, so they comfortable with this, or?
yes.
Okay.
So do we make a motion to open the buildings?
I'd say we make a motion to, guidance follows New Hampshire Department of Health and Human Services. It's kind of your safety net for everything. That way, if they
Decide you have to shut down.
if they shut it down, then it's based on guidance from that. I think it's how the schools have done it.
Yes.
And that way, instead of having to, we got to change policy this week, and then, we have to have a special meeting and change it. It's based on guidance of the entity where we're getting the information from. So I would make a motion that we adjust our closed building to the public policy to fall in with guidance from New Hampshire Department of Health and Human Services guidance.
I'll second that. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? None, motion carries.
Flexibility up and down.
Mask policy for fire district.
Just basically did
That was pretty much both.
Yeah.
Well, I think of a mask policy, like, if you're vaccinated, aren't required to wear a mask. If you're not vaccinated, you strongly suggest that you should wear a mask. And I don't.
That's what you run into everywhere, except for
Everywhere.
doctor's offices.
Yeah,
And then,
Okay.
except for health.
Oh, I just figure if we put it in writing, then, I mean, I don't know.
Does New Hampshire Fire Standards Training have guidance on that? They've been adjusting up and down with the mask?
So their policy is what the state EMS protocol is, and that is, if you're vaccinated, you do not need to wear a mask, but if you're unvaccinated, you should wear a mask.
Yes.
Well, that's
But there's no mandate.
Right, it's not
Because-
shall.
It's encouraged. But every individual agency or company can still make it stricter than what the state policy is.
my company, we had to show our vaccination card, and it doesn't, HIPAA doesn't cover it.
I know, but that's where you get into it, where, because
I didn't take pictures, like, they all came to me and showed me their cards, and I'm like, okay, you don't have to wear a mask, you don't have to wear a mask. And so, I'm okay with it. I mean, that's our policy in the company I work for, is if you're vaccinated, don't have to wear a mask. If you are unvaccinated, you have to wear a mask, but it's strongly recommended.
Well, at my PCP, they require masks. For physical therapy, if you're vaccinated, you show them your card, you do not have to wear a mask. So it's all over the place.
Yeah, you go to market basket, if you're vaccinated, no mask. If you're unvaccinated, but you know, how are they gonna know?
That's the honor system.
Well, yeah, exactly, how do they know? If they don't
Yeah.
have someone, like, during the pandemic, they had someone stand at the door, no, the store's full, you gotta wait.
right. Yeah, it's all based on honor system now.
Everybody that we have at the door right now that comes, we have the mask required sign still up. I think every one of us still goes down with a mask on, they always
Yeah.
ask, do I need to
Where
wear
was
a
I
mask?
today?
So that communication's been happening.
Oh, I was at 7-Eleven in Concord off exit 12, right before this, and I went to get a drink, and it said mask required, and I walked in, not one person had a mask on, so.
They didn't take the sign down
No,
yet.
they didn't take the sign down, so I don't know. Even the employees didn't have a mask on, so.
I think for now, we just, once again, go with the guidance from New
Yeah.
Hampshire Department of Health and Human Services,
All right.
because it's a fluctuating, you need a motion for it the same way, or include it in with the open.
Let's just make a separate motion.
All right, I'll make a motion that we adopt the mask policy as based on guidance of New Hampshire Department of Health and Human Services.
I'll second it. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. Motion carries.
There you go.
Just make sure make it clear. Park Street Tower update.
So I was in contact with John Arthur, who's in charge of Owens Wireless Edge, or I guess he's the president, I don't know. President and CEO, that's what it says right here. So they're trying to finalize the tower foundation design. It turns out that the subsurface soils are weak, so they'll need some reinforcement, and they're working to get that done. And once the final tower design is done, they'll apply for a building permit. So the reason I brought this up is more for if we're going to be building over there, the core samples will have to be close to the building to make sure that whatever we put there, if we ever do indeed put anything there, that's something that they found at the tower site, which is like right next to where we, you know, not too far away, that the subsurface soils may need to be removed and replaced or reinforced in some other manner. It's just
How far down did they core down versus we would have to go for a station?
I don't know.
I
I think when
mean,
they
I
do
don't know.
corings, they're, for anything, they're pretty deep. Because they have to find out what the soils are down to
Yeah,
a
'cause
certain
you're
level
putting-
to
you're
see
putting a
how
lot
it
of weight.
supports weight. That's, you have to talk to an engineer about that.
I thought you had that under your belt.
So this is the new finding when they didn't do any tests.
They did corings, the snow just melted or something like that when they did the corings.
All right, so that could impact a little bit.
Yeah.
All right.
They can only build a better than frost line down there, now they core down.
Now, are we liable for that, or are they gonna?
Nope, that's all on them.
And now they're redesigning the tower, or just
Just
redesigning the footings?
The footing, the base.
Okay.
From the top up, you won't see any difference. There might be more rebar involved, or the type of concrete they use might be a a higher
Higher
PSI.
compacted, yeah.
Yeah, so that's their problem, not ours.
The footings, are they going to be close enough that it may have to get reassessed by the planning board because of the wetlands?
No,
That-
the
that-
same size.
Okay, so with what, it's just how they put it, like you said, more reinforcement, more compacting and,
I imagine it's probably more rebar and compacting that they're gonna have to do too.
okay.
Or they may have to excavate it deeper and put a better base in the bottom than.
Maybe deeper hole than what they originally planned, but the limits of work are what they are, that's not gonna change.
How much is this gonna impact the out shelter? That's
Nothing.
right on the edge.
Nothing.
Okay, just because that's a small pad above
Yep.
at the top, so that, all right. Just some of the things I could see coming into a concern for everyone is because that's right at the edge and at the riverside.
Right.
Okay.
So that was purely informational.
Cool, thank you. New business, Deputy Joubert, private-public partnerships.
Yeah, so this is something that the chief and Chief Robinson and I have been talking about for a couple of years. And now with the hiring of the 4 new people, I thought it may be a good opportunity to help maybe supplement or offset some of the costs associated with those people. I know there's supposed to be a committee put together to try to come up with some alternatives for funding. It just seemed like it fit in perfectly with that idea. So I've met with a couple of private businesses that require some specialized services from the fire district. You know, above and beyond medical and fire, mostly related to technical rescue. And I said, hey, you know, just kind of having general discussions about, would you be interested in partnering with the district on technical rescue training? Because you require confined space or hazardous materials, and these are low-frequency, high-risk incidents, and they are required to have these services in place. So right now, the way that our budget is designed for training is we provide these technicians, you know, 8 hours or 16 hours a year to maintain their skills besides our normal shift training, because it's a specialized thing. And this partnership would have those hours or more hours, or potentially sending people to classes, covered under this agreement. How much money that means, $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, I'm not sure. But just starting those informal conversations with at least 2 companies that are interested. And before we got too deep into it, you know, we just figured we want to have conversation with the commissioners to get their thought and their input. But I think if we can start attracting some of these partnerships, I think it's a good way for us to show the public that we're making an effort to help offset some of these costs associated with the personnel. It's not going to cover everything. It's not going to be 100%, but that, along with tower revenue and some other things, you know, that effort's there anyways. What it turns out to be in the long run, I'm not sure, but again, it's just those initial conversations, and there is interest in some of these businesses.
Would this be like a annual fee that they pay?
Sure, so logistically, it's going to be a little bit tricky depending on the businesses. One business is like, listen, we just can't donate you this money, but let's come into an agreement where you come to do 2 trainings at a facility per year and you can bill us for it.
Yeah.
At whatever this amount is,
Yeah.
okay, or we're going to come up to this agreement and we're going to write you a check for this amount. So it might have to be on an individual basis for each company. I have a fee structure kind of set in my head right now, but really it comes down to the amount of time that we have to spend at that facility for training.
Interesting.
So, some of that, I mean, because if you're a fee for training, hypothetically, we would be paying the firefighters their salary to be training to get the reimbursement and then some. Is one of the ways you're thinking?
Correct. So maybe just to make it simple, all right? Let's say we put in our budget 16 hours per person that's a confined space technical rescue technician or whatever. if we can fund that through somebody else, maybe that 16 hours doesn't need to be in there anymore because it's coming from another source.
Definitely, I mean,
It's just another way to try to offset the operating budget, more or less, I guess.
Yeah.
Or supplement the operating budget, however you want to do it.
no, I think it's a good idea. I mean, just with this stuff, how many of our firefighters are like trained trainers?
Me. So any of our technical rescue people are certified through New Hampshire Fire Academy. I'm the one who sets up and develops these trainings
Okay.
that they participate in.
Okay.
I mean, I work with other trained people as well to set them up, but yes.
Right. But if we had to conduct, like, say, for the widget company, you needed 3 instructors because of the class size.
That would work towards hiring those people as well.
Do you have 3 people that would, or you would have a primary instructor and 2 secondary instructors that would, the primary is the subject matter expert, liability, everything. The other 2 have enough knowledge to be
Yes,
safety on
yes.
the.
We have enough people in our department and local departments to be able to meet those requirements. And if we needed to hire an outside instructor that specializes in this, I think some of those funds that we collect could be used for that as well.
And plus our guys could jump in on the class
Correct.
probably for free. So that's one way that you save money with the training side of it. What kind of stuff do we have local? I mean, obviously I know hot work permits, confined space permits. We don't have too much high angle permits.
Nope, so a lot of it would be, like I said, confined space is a big one, because where they're confined space teams, they don't have those.
Right.
So that would be probably the biggest one for us, but we can even go down the road as, for hazardous materials and things like that, you know. I just, you know, we're starting to have these conversations with businesses, so just want to get the input of the 3 of you to see if it's something, you know, that you think is valuable. Because like I said, I think the biggest thing is we're going to show the public that we're making that effort.
I support it. I mean, I'm all in favor. I'm just trying to look into the potential logistics portion of it. But I think it's a good idea to offset
I
in some
think if
fashion.
these companies are willing to work with us on this, we'll find,
Yeah.
we'll figure it out how to make
Yeah.
it work
Yeah.
within our system, whether it's a bill that we have to invoice them or they write us a check. We'll figure it out individually with each company because they're all a little bit different in how they
Right.
operate and how things can work. Some of them can do grants,
Yeah.
others cannot. So it would probably be like a
On a
memorandum of
case-by-case.
understanding on a case-by-case
Yeah,
basis.
even if we're just getting training where if they're conducting the training and we're putting our people in with it, it counts towards their training and we're not paying to send them to a course.
Right.
So even then, we're saving money and getting them to the training opportunities.
It's just another thing that we had discussed, but Deputy Jubert's been the lead on this, and he's done a really great job of getting some companies that are really interested in helping us out in this manner. And again, as he said, it's showing that we're working to try and help defray the costs
Mhm.
of the additional employees that we have now, and that we're working towards that. And, you know, the tower revenue can help do that. Just our operating efficiencies now is going to help do that. And by no means are we ever really going to be able to cover the cost of those employees financially, but the service that we're providing is far superior to what we were just several months ago, and I think that's really the payoff in better response times, and that we're transporting folks from Tilton Northfield and not other ambulance providers. People pay their taxes and they want to see their fire department come and take care of them, not somebody else, from Belmont or from Sanverton. Not that they're not doing the jobs. It's just like, I thought I'd see a Tilton Northfield fire person here.
I still won't.
Well, you will, for sure. You'll see both. Doubly blessed.
Paul, do you have anything?
No, I guess I would pursue it and find out,
I'd be interested to.
yeah,
I mean,
what we can do.
while you're saying, specialized, like, there's a company that was supposed to move into Northfield. I don't know if they're still planning on doing that over there on 140, but would they require specialized training?
Probably not. No.
Just because they have, God knows what they're shipping oil.
This isn't anything new. I mean, the
Yeah.
private-public partnership has been going on for
No, no.
a long time. It just, you know, I know that these companies have had informal conversations with over the years
Right.
about potentially doing something because they require these services that are above and beyond what, you know, the fire department normally provides. And I thought it'd just be a great way to formalize it and
Yeah, I think it's a great idea, and let's see.
fix it offset or supplement the operating budget.
Yeah, it's been established for, I mean, Electra Solar down in Boston is the prime example. I mean, half the place is hazmat technicians, and
Yeah.
the fire department, they very much are all trained to
Well, I mean,
come from there.
I'm just going down. I mean, I'm thinking of different companies. And
It almost got scary when I was thinking about it, how big it could get. And I think to start off with, I would personally try to keep it small and manageable.
No, well, I'm just thinking of all the different companies.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you don't think about it, but now if you actually think about it,
Right.
it's like if you actually go down from Franklin to the Mosquito Bridge, and oh, yeah, there's a lot of restaurants. But when you actually count them, there's like 50 restaurants, you know, if you take every single one of them, and you don't think about that, but there's 50 restaurants. So I can imagine you going, oh, wait, yeah, there's like 50 companies here that this could be applied to. Yeah, I think, go for it.
They wrote
Very good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Probably.
Oh, I'm just gonna throw this in here just because you're right here and we're talking to. The fireworks show?
I've been postponed, yes.
Yes, but it's been,
June 25th, July 25th?
July 24th at Riverfront. That is the game. That's the plan. So we'll just fill out some paperwork for the town work.
That's it? Yeah, I stopped by on Monday.
Yeah, I just want to let you know.
Thank you.
Because I kind of, there was talk about J. Jill and over here, but it's over there. Let's see, public, change September 14th meeting to the 7th.
That's for you, Eric.
Yes, this is for me. I have to travel out of town on the 14th. So I was hoping that we could move our meeting to the 7th. And I'm embarrassed to say why I have to travel out of town.
That's the day after Labor Day.
It is, but the 14th, it's a work. Just like I did a couple of weeks ago, I had to go down to New Bedford. I have these quarterly meetings now, and we're going to be floating on the Saco River all day.
Team building event.
It is a team building event because we're going to be having floating coolers, I've been told.
Well, just remember, all you have to say is that you have a meeting that you have to go to for work.
It's only an hour and a half away.
I can do the 7th.
Paul?
Yep.
All right.
Okay, I'll change the
So we'll
calendar.
move to the 7th. So
What day is it on?
Tuesday. It's the
Tuesday.
day after Labor Day.
Okay.
It's actually the first Tuesday.
Yeah. Why do I have that? How do I
So we can do-
That was easy. All right. Review the minutes of June 7th, 2021.
Paul, would you take one and pass one to Eric and John, please? Those are the non-public.
It's not hard.
Oh, okay. Good. Thank you. The 7th seems so long ago.
I know. 2 whole weeks, or was it 3 weeks?
I was more focused on the other stuff today.
It's okay.
Draft minutes for 6/7. There it is.
I read them, I just don't remember them. I always look at them when you send them to us.
This one was the one that was just us. It wasn't with public.
Right.
What was the date again that she sent us?
She sent it back down 6/10.
Yep. I was gonna scroll back, that's one.
Yeah, 6/10. She sent them for 6/7.
All right, we gotta fix that one.
Yeah, no kidding.
How's Tim's hair still? Let's see here. keep thinking I'm stroking out. Flip drop. June 10th?
June 10th is when she sent them from Beth for June 7th.
I did not get.
So, just at thought, think about that. So,
Just review it real quick. And
Yes.
That's why I don't remember that.
go
There you go.
to the unreserved fund balance.
Hold on, I just want to see if.
So
maybe
we have to
it's,
create a special.
What's her email, Beth, right?
So if we get $10,000-$20,000 at district meeting, we're gonna have to create a special fund
Right.
To the commissioners.
for that money to go into that. Take it
And
out
it
of
did
the-
go to you.
Just like
Distribution
we
was
do.
Yeah, but did it go to my fire commissioner one or? did it-
Probably, yes.
Yeah, so
Alright.
that one.
Yeah, we'll have to
I
do
didn't think,
that.
I didn't think about that until just
Okay.
a second ago.
Yeah, we'll have to do that because otherwise
Yeah, I'm like, it's not gonna do anything except go.
I use my
Yeah.
personal email.
it would have to be for training.
Yeah, that'd be easy enough to do, but
Yeah.
for some reason, I hadn't thought of that yet until just a second
And
ago.
Oh,
you
I
just,
have.
that's a touch screen, so you just
When
scroll
you
on the
mentioned
screen.
it, I went,
Yeah, I just,
It's an iPad.
Is it?
It's an iPad
It's not
keyboard.
shiny, it's not shiny. They're both sides bad, I see.
mine's not shiny, my iPad. That's how you have the background set and the lighting.
See, he's written on it a few times. Yeah, most of them I ever see, oh, there's a shiny.
It's also got the acrylic screen protector, so I don't know if that might do
That
it.
might be doing it. All right, I'm good with that.
I'll make a motion to accept the June 7th minutes, the public minutes as written.
I'll second it.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None? Motion carries. June 7th, non-public minutes. What was this one for? Oh,
Down below, description of matters discussed and final decisions made.
yep.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of June 7th, non-public meeting of June 7th, as written.
And there's a second, any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None? Motion carried. Any other business? Sign MS 535. That sounds like a Catherine situation.
Yes. And it's the financial report of the budget for 2020 rather. And it's prepared by the auditors.
Yes.
So if you would be so kind as to sign beside your name.
All of us.
Yes, all of you have to sign.
Nope.
Please, please, please.
Can't make us.
I know.
Only one of us signs on, I'll torment her. She's gonna be so close.
That was probably also sent to you, commissioners, isn't it?
No, she's usually pretty good
Oh.
at sending me my stuff for my other.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. I can upload that to.
Now you're on public again.
Oh, all right, there we go.
Hold on a sec.
Sorry.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Oh, if we're going to non-public, I sent you gentlemen an email about our progress with the additional personnel, where we are with response time.
Yes.
And collection and stuff like that, and I didn't know if you guys had any comment on that or not.
Do you want to say,
Nope, because this is, it would actually should have been a part of a correspondence in the beginning.
yeah,
I didn't add it to that because, but it was a correspondence that came out talking about that.
Yeah, I just,
Yeah, because you're saying it tonight, and that's no problem. I think where it's a correspondence, and the fact that we've seen the response from a couple of budget committee members, I would like to make a motion, we talk to the moderator about his criteria for selecting the budget members for their proper representation of the town, due to that correspondence.
So I guess we would have to recommend, well, let's talk about it.
I think that what we've seen in correspondence from, well, it's only been a motion, it's not been seconded, so we really can't.
I'll second it for discussion.
Okay, there we go. We've seen correspondences in the past where they threatened to go to DRA because they didn't agree. The chair of that is not necessarily representing the committee, whereas last year he was more representing himself because he didn't feel he wasn't getting the proper note.
Well, the chair this year is female.
Last year's chair,
Okay.
Well,
So
she was female still.
No,
that is Jason.
Oh,
It's Catherine.
Catherine last year, it was the year before that was Jason.
Oh, I'm sorry, okay.
It's okay.
It's just, some of the members on the budget committee sometimes have an agenda and make it very clear. And I absolutely appreciate that they are looking at the nickel and dime so much. But when they don't get their way, they really poorly represent the town. And I think that the fact that they are appointed by Kent, we may need to find out what the moderator's criteria for that position and their behavior and how they represent that position, and or get other people in there that can be a little bit more attentive to detail, but also represent the public in a more positive fashion.
I think the criteria is a willingness and a heartbeat.
But there's some that are in there and they're very vocal and they're very antagonistic and poorly represent the role that they're appointed to.
so is that something that we should invite the moderator here for to discuss
I think so.
at our next meeting?
I would-
Paul, do you have anything?
No, I think you're right, probably we should invite Ken here to discuss it, see what his feelings are.
Yep.
And, I mean, he's been there, he knows,
Yeah, no, I mean,
and he's the one that appoints him, so he's,
Yeah, their poor representation of his.
well, are they, when they're appointed, are they appointed for a year, or are they appointed
It
for?
depends. Most terms are for 3 years,
Okay,
but unless they're filling a vacancy.
yeah.
And then
So-
it's just the end of that.
Yeah, that's-
So
I think
when do those terms, I don't know what the current,
All right, I can tell you.
I guess I could look it up.
I
I don't know if
just
we can
having-
mention, I don't know if we want to mention names or not. That's where
You
I'm trying
can
to,
say when terms expire.
okay, I'll just try to.
I think it's on the website.
It is on the website, yes.
Public information, I'm just looking.
Okay.
Good.
Jane Alden expires in 2022. Kevin Waldron in 2023. Catherine Dawson in 2024. Scott Lewandowski, 2022. Charlie Broughton, 2024. Jason Wright, 2023. And I have to change Eric because it was 21 and you guys put him back in at the last meeting. So he's 2022 right now.
Charlie was what year?
2024.
Okay, thank you.
Charlie and Catherine were just reappointed.
Yeah, I think just sitting down with the moderator because maybe he can offer some guidance on decorum.
Yeah, well.
It's just, when the mask issues came up, we had a couple of members saying they weren't gonna wear a mask. They were attacking the mask policy left and right, and I'll never wear it. You don't have to make us, you know. They're just, they're kind of put in there to represent the town in a certain way, which means they have to be somewhat agreeable to practices and policies. I understand their own personal opinion on it, and they're entitled to that, which they're entitled to vote as such. But using their position and when they're in that capacity, fighting the policy when they're in the capacity is stepping over the line. Now, when they're not there for a budget meeting, or they're not talking about how they're going to attend the budget meeting and they're public and they say they don't like to wear a mask, I fully support that. But to say I'm not going to wear a mask when I go to that meeting,
yeah.
that's,
Is there equal representation in 3 and 3?
It is.
Okay.
I think just having a talk with Ken,
Yeah,
it can't hurt.
no,
And that addresses some of the, because, all right.
That's my Guilford app, so when I have a call.
But yeah, the correspondence, when I saw those out today, and then the responses, yeah. A little less than impressed.
Ironically, I got 2 responses, but.
Right.
Yes, that's all that was received was 2.
But I just, because when they're responding, they're kind of responding as that representation of that position. The
Yep.
way they, especially one where he said, when's the
So-
next meeting?
Can we, well, that's because our June meeting was canceled.
Right, but, so he can't say that that was his personal opinion in the reply.
So the, so I guess we invite Mr. Finnemore. Well, now here's an interesting situation. When's our next meeting?
July 13th.
Wednesday meeting.
Well, there was an email sent out to budget committee members to choose the 9th or the 23rd.
I would encourage the 23rd.
I think it was.
It's going to be the 23rd because Catherine came back with the 23rd.
Okay,
Everybody was okay with both dates except for Charlie, who was going to be on vacation on the 23rd, and Scott, who was having surgery on the 9th. So I said it to Catherine and said, what night do you want?
because you can't do remote anymore, so.
No,
No.
so she opted for the 23rd.
Okay.
You can, but you have to have the majority of the body,
Yes.
body there.
Yeah, well, I didn't know if he was on vacation, and if you wanted to dial in, could he?
Yes.
Yes.
You can for
Okay.
our sake.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd have been, I don't know.
You just have to have majority of the bodies
Right,
at that
physically
physical
there.
location.
Right, and he just needs to let me know that he's going to be dialing in so that I can have all the setup there.
Yep. Okay, so I guess we'll invite Mr. Finnemore to our August,
To our July 13th meeting.
July 13th meeting.
I did appreciate your letter and how you spelled it out and the pros and cons that was going on. That
It's a small sample size, because we're only
It
3
is.
months into
Well,
this.
that's the first thing I said.
Yep, you did.
Size.
Yep, absolutely. So, did appreciate that.
I mean, you still see, well, I don't know how much you pay attention to the call, I mean, you still see multiple calls, I mean, you can't control it. You can't say, oh, no, sorry guys, you guys can't have an emergency now because, you know, they're on call.
Right.
But I think it was the other day, did you guys have 5 at one time?
Handle them all. Yep, and we handle them all.
Oh, no, I was just like,
I know, it was probably when I was trying to get my fire permit and I happened to catch the engine when the ambulance shoots by me, it's like, ooh, that means I
No,
don't
it's
like
You
just-
get it
that.
online.
I don't want to pay the $3.
It's $5.50.
Oh, I don't want to pay that. I'd rather come in free.
got picked
How
up.
much in gas do you spend getting here?
I was already over on this side of town doing my recycling to the dump.
There's another option too now. We
You
are,
can call and.
you can call in and we can enter your permit online for free and email it to you.
Can we put that on the website too? So that, I'm not sure if it's on there already, if not, can we put it out there for the public to know?
There'll be a lot of trash burning going on in Northfield right now.
Legal outside.
If you read the Facebook posts, like, well,
What's illegal outside fire? It's just the contents might not be.
why do you have a pallet of boxes and cardboard that you're burning?
It's combustible. I don't put any plastic in there. All right, that's why I was over
So
here.
cheap
What's
will
the
be there.
recycles?
All right, so we gotta move into non-public, I guess. All right, make a motion that we go into non-public session per RSA 91-A:3, Roman numeral 2C. Matters which if discussed in public would likely affect, I have a tough time, would likely affect adversely the reputation of any person other than a member of this board, unless such person requests an open meeting. This exemption shall extend to include any application for assistance or tax abatement or waiver of a fee, fine, or other levy if based on inability to pay or poverty of the applicant.
So you made the motion.
Make
I'll
a
second
motion.
it.
Second, oh, do I have to say why? No.
You did.
You did.
Oh, okay.
Roll call vote.
Roll call vote. Oh, notes for this part of it. So, roll call vote. Paul Ozier.
Yes.
John Silly.
Yes.
Eric Clary, yes. Stop the recorder.
Say the time first.
The time is 7:19 p.m. Hit the red button.
Okay, and
No, I hit stop.
You hit
hit stop,
Stop.
stop.
Okay, it's 7:27. All right, make a motion to leave non-public session and return to public session.
I'll second that.
Roll call vote, Paul Ozier,
Yes.
John Silly,
Yes.
Eric Pyrie, yes. Motion passed. All right, so the public session has been reconvened at 7:28. Motion made to seal the minutes.
I think so, just
No.
because of defamation.
Do we have to seal them or no?
You don't have to because they're not gonna see anything. Nobody's gonna see
The names.
the names.
Okay.
All right,
So, yeah, I just want to make sure,
yeah, so we'll just not.
out of respect for the individuals.
Yes.
All right, so done. And so, we move on. We did that. Meeting dates, next meeting of this board is July 13th, 2021.
Correct.
Make sure I go to my calendar. I do not have that, I do have it on my calendar.
I will contact him tomorrow.
I have it on
We'll send
Microsoft
it
Teams
out.
meeting.
What?
I
You sure you don't want me to put your kids' birthdays on there?
know.
And their
you put-
anniversaries?
you put a lot of stuff
And your
on there.
grandkids?
I like that stuff.
All right,
That way at work I can say, hey, it's hot dog day or chocolate ice cream day.
Donald Duck Day.
Well,
all
Beth
right.
was sitting there one day and I looked at her and said, dress this up.
Is there
do
any other
something."
business to come before this board?
I don't think so at this time.
Hearing none, I'll make a motion to adjourn. Huh?
No, did you have something?
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second it?
Second, non-debatable. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. We are adjourned at 7:28. Thank you. Have a nice night.
So you kept under the 2-hour mark at least.
Not by much. Not by